Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. It has been a long ass time since I've been able to talk to you about zombies, and here we are back once again at last, and the zombies are going to be appearing in Modern Warfare 3? Listen, this is a bit weird, but bear with me, we're going to work through it together, okay? Lean on me, I got your back. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was rumored initially to have zombies in it. Like, there was a lot of talk, a lot of sort of hush-hush conversation, people saying they found stuff in the game files that hints that there's going to be zombies in Modern Warfare 2. Then we ended up with DMZ. Now, DMZ is related, I think, to zombies in the sense that it's related to Outbreak. Outbreak was a massive expansion of what zombies could be in terms of format in Cold War. And Activision clearly went, well, Outbreak's actually really successful for us. Like, we've published numbers that say that the round-based zombies mode in Cold War was just as successful as Outbreak was. And for a completely new venture, that's a really big deal. So they're obviously going to double down on that new formula to see if they can apply it to other titles as well. And DMZ in many ways is sort of the natural extension of that, if you include the history of things like Spec Ops and the work that's been done with Warzone over the years as well. Like, it's just sort of a creation in a test tube of all of those things sort of mashed together. And I think that you'll probably agree with me that DMZ's got some aspects to it that are really cool, really interesting, really exciting, that maybe were really fun, or at least fun for a period of time. They might have worn off, or they might have got boring over time, but there was certainly something interesting there. And Outbreak 2, even if you're an Outbreak hater, is something that I think we can all agree at least did some exciting and cool things. But the news now, according to Insider Gaming, is that Call of Duty's next release this year in 2023 is not going to be premium DLC, as was previously reported by Jason Schreier. It was at one point, that was at one point true, but now it's not any longer. It's going to be a brand new title, which I'm sure you already know at this point because this has been talked about a little bit, but its title will be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 with 3 I's instead of the number 3. It's going to have its own fully fledged Battle Royale map, which will be Las Almas from Modern Warfare 2 this year. And several sources have all come together to say that the game is going to feature Outbreak 2.0. So what's really interesting to me about that is that that isn't DMZ 2.0. That's Outbreak 2.0 that those sources have currently disclosed. And so what I'm hoping is going to happen here is that they're going to take what they've learned from DMZ, they're going to take what they already knew from Outbreak, and they're going to combine those two things together and therefore create a superior product based on that. I think that it would be foolish for them to ignore some of the extra sort of fun things that we might have got sprinkled through DMZ and just plow ahead only with Outbreak as a focus. So fingers crossed, they'll be able to do that. But what's sort of concerning, or maybe not concerning, depending on how you look at it, is who's developing it. So normally, obviously, we'd assume that Treyarch would develop Outbreak, Infinity Ward would develop anything Modern Warfare related, and Sledgehammer would just mess around in the corner. But Sledgehammer are the lead developers of this next title, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which is funny because Modern Warfare 3 was also something that they were heavily involved in back in the day, so things have come full circle there, even though Call of Duty's Modern Warfare series is mostly Infinity Ward's thing. So they're the lead devs on this project, and that means that they're going to be having to lean on the resources and the learnings of Infinity Ward with DMZ and just Modern Warfare 2 in general, and also Treyarch with Outbreak from Cold War. And it's, as of yet, unclear whether Treyarch are going to actually be pulled in as a support studio to man the charge, to kind of be at the front of the charge on this new Outbreak mode, seeing as Outbreak is their thing, or if Sledge are just going to put their own spin on it. And to be honest, if they put their own spin on it, my hopes for the mode are honestly, and I mean no offense to the devs here, but I'm going to be keeping them real low. Because my expectations have been messed with too much over the years, and I don't want to go into this game thinking it's going to be a new entire year of zombies content and it's going to be amazing and it's going to grip us all, and then to get there and it's like a sort of version of Outbreak that doesn't understand what made Outbreak good and actually just doesn't really work that well for me. And I fear that that could happen. So I'm keeping the expectations low. But what's interesting as well is that they're currently weighing up the idea that the Outbreak 2.0 mode could be free to play. It might not be bundled in with the rest of the Modern Warfare 3 product. And if that happens, that makes me wonder if it being free to play would then mean that they're going to continue it going forward. And this is where things get really complex and a little tricky. Because if Treyarch aren't pulled in as a support studio, let's all pray together right now. Can we get a prayer emoji in the chat, in the comments section, folks? The frog is praying as well. If Treyarch are not involved, that would mean that development of a zombies mode would be ongoing next year, if they extend it, that is, during Treyarch's mainline Call of Duty release, but Treyarch wouldn't be touching that part of the zombies. And to my mind, that doesn't make sense. Surely Treyarch are going to have their finger in the pie, but the issue there is that that would mean that they wouldn't be getting a full dev cycle on their product next year, Black Ops 6 or whatever the hell we're calling it at this point, because at least some part of their team, I'm not saying it's going to be the entire studio, that's not what a support studio would do in this case, but at least some members of the team would be pulled onto this project for Outbreak 2.0. And those members of the team would therefore not be working on Treyarch's thing, whatever is coming next. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. Like, either we get something that doesn't have Treyarch involvement and is probably less suited to zombie players' needs and enjoyment based on that fact, or we get something that does have Treyarch involvement and it's sooner, which is nice, but that means that Treyarch's next thing isn't baked to perfection in the way that these things need to be in order to really satisfy this community, because we're a very demanding community, and that also would line up with the last couple of games that Treyarch have had to release, where they've also had their dev time cut short and they've had to focus on other projects outside of their control. It would be really nice for Treyarch to just be allowed to make their own game for once, but as things stand right now, with everything just mixing up with everything else, that's getting less and less possible, I think. So I'm sure for some people, this is going to be news that at first glance, they're like, oh, zombies this year? Sick. And then they're going to go, wait, but I want round-based zombies next year to be better, so this is bad news. And there are also going to be people that go, but it's Outbreak and I hate Outbreak, so this is bad news. But there are going to be other folks that are going to give it a shot, myself included. And it also completely fits with the guess that I made, the prediction I made, my anticipation of the fact that I think there is a genuine chance that if Outbreak as a mode and as a format continues to succeed, there may come a point where Treyarch Zombies just isn't really zombies anymore. It's not really round-based, and in fact, all of that resourcing, or at least the vast majority of it, does go towards an Outbreak style thing, purely because of the fact that it rocketed to equal popularity so quickly, and it has so much more overlap with the stuff that they're already doing in Warzone and in other modes. And it feels like the natural progression that Activision as a business would want to push in. I'm not sure the extent to which they think fiscally it makes sense to keep zombies going as a round-based format when our community is so picky about what we want. We have such specific needs, and it definitely takes so much effort to achieve those goals. I just suspect that there's probably a dinosaur at Activision that's like, these young little upstart whippersnappers asking for their round-based zombies, why bother when we could just as easily make Outbreak, make that go on forever, get all the studios involved in it, it's Warzone, but it's PvPvE, or it's just PvE, and then we've got all bases covered, and we just ride off into the sunset and retire in 5 years with 50 mil in the bank each. Like, that's what I'm worried about. I don't want that to happen, to be clear. So, does this news excite you, or are you terrified? I, for one, know that saying the sentence Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Zombies out loud is something that I would never utter. And yet, here we are. In the meantime, leading up to it, I'll continue to be posting a couple of game reviews as I go through those, and also continuing my fitness journey, because that's been going really well right now. If you guys show me a lot of love in the comment section of this video, I might be convinced to post like a fitness video, self-improvement style thing at some point. I'd really love to try some content in that area, but I've just been a little shy too, to be completely honest. It's very new for me, and I'm used to no nonsense. And when I'm new to things, there's a little sprinkle of nonsense in there that I gotta deal with, and that intimidates me. I don't know, man. Do you want that sort of thing? Maybe you're just not interested. Let me know. Either way, thanks for watching. I've been MrRoflWaffles. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.